from mental institutions, insane asylum, which is a step above a mental institution. Within hours of my inauguration, I will cancel every Biden policy that is brutalizing our farmers and our country. I will end the Biden assault on ethanol. I will end and stop Biden's inflation nightmare. This is an inflation nightmare. And when you think about what did he do? What did he do? He has energy going through the roof. Energy is all-encompassing. It's big. And he couldn't get it. We were energy independent just a short time ago. We were soon going to be energy dominant. We were going to supply energy all over the world. We were going to take care of Europe, so they didn't have to buy. You know, I was the one that stopped the pipeline from Russia to Germany. I stopped it. Then they say, oh, he's so soft on Russia. I was the worst thing that ever happened. Putin would even say to me, he said, you know, they always say you're soft. You're the worst thing that ever happened to us, but we got along. You know, it's nice to get along with people. But, you know, he would have never gone into Ukraine. You know that, right? He would never have gone, or as Biden would say, he would have never gone into Iraq. Do you saw that? He would never have gone into Iraq. Then a little bit later in the day, he said again, he got killed. And then later on he said, we have to stop Russia from fighting with Iraq. Now, let me tell you, the gloves are off with these guys, because these guys, there's something wrong with them. We will bring down interest rates and appoint a special team to attack the high price of fertilizer and other farm products, which is happening again because of energy. Drill, baby, drill. That's what we're going to do. We're going to drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. We have more than any other liquid gold. We have more than any other country in the world. Nobody has even close. We have more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia. We were so beautiful. We were so energy independent. We were soon going to be making a fortune with the energy, a fortune, and we're going to pay off debt. We're going to get those trillions of dollars paid off. We're going to lower taxes even further. I gave you the biggest tax cuts in history, but we're going to go further. I will terminate Biden's atrocious electric car mandates and rapidly restore American energy independence and energy dominance with Iowa ethanol and ethanol generally right at the center of the action. We're going to be using ethanol and everything else. We will get the prices so low. Remember, we had you down to $1.87. We actually had you down to $1.50 a gallon, but they were all going to go out of business. We had to get it up. I said, let's get it up a little bit. But then after that, we started to go up to $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, and now it's still very, very high. And the economy's lousy, but when the economy gets better, it's hard to get better when you have high energy prices, but if and when it gets better, under these people, it'll never get better, it'll only get worse. They're looking to destroy our country. But we'll get the prices way down, and then we'll get the interest rates down, and then the home builders are going to start to build again because they stopped, because nobody can get money from a bank. Nobody can borrow money because the interest rates are so high. We won't just increase ethanol production in our country. We'll make it our mission to export the ethanol, which I told all of your dealers and all of the people, thousands and thousands of jobs in your state. We're going to go all over the world. I'm going to allow that to go all over the world, and it'll be a great market. To knock down barriers for American farm products, I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. I was all set to get it done, and then we had a thing called the China virus come in. Has anyone heard of the China virus? If India or China or any one of many countries, which is what they were doing to us, hits us with a 100% or a 200% tariff or tax, we will hit them with exactly the same tariff or tax right back. So that if India, which have a great relationship with Modi, like them, but they're very tough traders, and they, as an example, if a Harley Davidson sold into India, they charge them almost 200% tax. You know what they say? We don't want them. Come in, build a plant in India, and sell them in India, no tax. And that's what we're doing, and that's what I was doing. We don't want your product. We want you to build your factory here, or we want you to build your factory in the United States. It's so basic. But I'll tell other countries where we spend billions and billions of dollars on military protection, we protect these countries that wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for us, that if they do not give preferential treatment to our farmers and to our manufacturers, the troops are going to pack up and they're going to come home. We get a lot of people we protect. I mean, I'd have a lot of meetings with the heads of countries, a number of them in particular, but one in really. We were spending billions and billions of dollars protecting them. I said, where do you buy your military equipment? I knew the answer. Well, I'd rather not really discuss that. No, where do you buy it from? I mean, we give you all this money. We buy a lot from China, we buy a lot from Russia, we buy very little from the United States. I said, why are we giving you billions of dollars? And he couldn't answer the question. It's not answerable. You know why? Because the people that ran this country are stupid people. That's why. They're stupid. And for the purposes of national security, I will ban communist China from buying up American farmland and other critical infrastructure in the United States. Have to do it. You have to do it, and China will be just fine. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. It's no wonder the swamp is getting truly desperate as they see us leading very big in the polls. They're getting crazy. Well, that's why every time I get a subpoena, my polls go up, I get more and more subpoenas. Report to a grand jury. He's killing Biden. He's killing them all. That's what it is. These are crooked people. Never happened in our country. Weaponization of the Department of Justice or the FBI. We've never had anything like this. And it's all bullshit, too. It's all stuff. That's why my polls go up. I'm the only person ever got indicted who became more popular. Because people understand it. They read it. They see it. It's all contrived, horrible stuff. Just horrible what they've done to this country. In the new premise poll, we are at 59%, and Ron DeSanctimonious is at 21% and falling. In the new Fox poll, we're beating DeSantis by 34 points among Republicans and 50 points among young voters. 50, thank you, young voters. In the very respected McLaughlin poll of Iowa, this is the Iowa poll just came out. A man named Trump is at 51%, and a man named DeSantis is at 19%. It's funny, I saw them doing an interview, sort of a straight interview, and they were saying, so his name is DeSantis, but nobody calls him that anymore because it's like they get confused, there's so many names. So we're getting ready to interview Ron DeSantis, and they're screaming, no, it's DeSantis. We've changed a lot of lives with those nicknames, haven't we? Eh? They follow people right to the grave. They follow them. In Ohio, we're ahead by 44 points. Just came out against Ron DeSantis. And the new Tennessee poll. I love Tennessee. We have every congressman and woman. We have the 2 senators. Everybody in Tennessee with the endorsements. The Tennessee poll, we're up by 49 points. When asked who's the best to improve the economy, they go Trump almost 60%, DeSantis 18%. And in New Hampshire, a poll just came out, Trump 55%, DeSantis 11%. In South Carolina, you saw we had almost 80,000 people last weekend. And it was 102 degrees out. It was hot. Who else could stand up for an hour and a half? Mostly without teleprompters. Because, if you read the teleprompter, it gets very boring for people, If you read the teleprompter, all of a sudden you notice people starting to leave. There's nobody leaving in this group. In fact, I want to thank the fire marshal. You guys worked unbelievable just to get as many people. A lot of people outside can't get in, but I want to thank them. But in South Carolina this last weekend, we had close to 80,000 people, and it was just about 100 degrees out. And people kept saying, you know, when is he going to grab the water after an hour and a half? You try and not do it, but there's nothing wrong with doing it. Probably I should do it. But in South Carolina, it's 59-12, and in Nevada, 65-10. Would you say that's good? And we're also leading, very importantly, Biden by a lot. This week's Echelon poll, very respected, of swing states, we're up by 7 points over Biden, 48-41, and we're up by 11 points in 2 other polls and 10 points in another poll. And it doesn't sound like much, because look, here you have a president who's grossly incompetent, who doesn't know where the hell he is. He can't even leave a state. It's like, when I leave here, I really know I'm going to say hello to these people, and then I'm going to walk down the stair. I might even say hello to the front row, you know, maybe. But it's not that complicated. But this guy's always, where the hell am I? And you know, I will tell you, the people that he's dealing with, President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un, North Korea, if you look at France, Macron, these are all people at the top of their game. These are smart people, tough people. They're at the top of their game. We have a man who doesn't have a clue. And he's in charge of potential nuclear war, which will annihilate the whole planet. And we can't let it go. People smile and they laugh and they think it's funny that he doesn't know where he is. And he doesn't know. And he didn't know where he was 25 years ago either, by the way. This was not one of the smart ones. This was not one of the smart ones. I asked, you know, I got along very well with Ted Kennedy. Never told the story. This is the first, this is for Nebraska, not for Iowa. But I had a good relationship. I said, who's the smartest president? This 25, 30 years ago, I got along because of Palm Beach and stuff. I did him a big favor, actually, Ted Kennedy. And not in my sphere in terms of politics, but that's okay. You know, that can happen too. I get along with a lot. I have a lot of great relationships, like in President of Mexico. He's a socialist, but we have a great relationship. He did a lot of good favors for us. We had the safest border in history. But with Ted Kennedy, so I said, who's the smartest senator? Who's the smartest one in the Senate? Years ago. And he gave me a name. I won't say that because it's actually a person that I didn't like very much. So I don't want to keep it. I said, who's the dumbest in the Senate? He goes, let's see, probably Joe. I said, Joe who? Joe Biden. He's the dumbest in the Senate. Now that was by Ted Kennedy. Now they'll go crazy. They'll say, oh, that's terrible. But he said this, and this was prime time. This wasn't now. And by the way, he's not old. He's off. There's a difference, because I know people that are 90 years old that are sharp as a tack. In fact, some of them are smarter than they were 20 years before. It's not age, it's there's something wrong. But he was never, and if you look at his foreign policy decisions, they were horrible over years, and his own people were saying that he doesn't make right decisions. But now he's incapable of, in my opinion, he's incapable of running. And I hate to say it because, you know, I'm not sure that he's going to be able to make it to the gate. But I guess I'd rather have him than somebody that actually is intelligent, right? So I hurt myself when I tell you these stories, in a way. Although I wouldn't mind running against Kamala. I wouldn't mind. But these incredible poll numbers are the primary reason that crooked Joe Biden has weaponized law enforcement and ordered his top political opponent, me, right in the middle of the election, because we're right now in the middle of a big deal. Ordered me arrested right here, right at this time. It never happened before. He's doing well. We have to arrest him. These people are sick. And this is a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all times, which was when we came down the escalator, the beautiful golden escalator, and it's all about a thing called election interference. This is a new way of cheating, not really new over the centuries, you know, things like this have happened, but they've never happened in our country to the extent they have. They rigged the presidential election of 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. And then on top of everything else, a highly respected federal judge, you just read it, issued a ruling this week that details substantial evidence of government involvement in social media censorship, where the FBI, the DOJ would tell the people heading up social media what to do. Don't say anything good about Trump, and don't say anything bad about Biden. And you know, the pollsters, John McLaughlin, Fabrizio, good pollster, great pollsters, they said it could have made a 17-point difference, like the laptop from hell, when they had 51 intelligence, quote, intelligence people say, that was Russia disinformation. The little girl sitting on his lap, that was created by Russia. It's a terrible thing. Yeah, it's right. It's really right what he's saying back there. It's right. They are traitors. They're traitors. They're traitors to our country. Traitors to our country. It's further proof that in addition to everything else, the 2020 election was rigged, and because of that, our country is going to hell. We had the strongest borders in history. We were doing great. We had no inflation. Everything was going beautifully. Never forget, our enemies want to stop us because we are the only ones that can stop them. We can stop them. We are stopping them. If the corrupt persecutions of our people succeed, they will complete their takeover of this country and destroy your way of life forever. And there's probably no coming back. There's probably no coming back. This is the most important election we've ever had, 2024. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. Thank you. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. Remember this, if I weren't leading in the polls by so much, they wouldn't be indicting me. If I were...
All right, so that is Donald Trump campaign.